And we're back with the second hour of To Free America here on the American Freedom Network, and we need your help. Simple as that, folks. We need your help. Keep the lights on, the phone bill paid, and most importantly, buying more squirrel food for the squirrel out there running in the cage in the transmitter so this signal goes out to you. Because you won't hear these shows on Clear Channel. We need your help. Call Michael, 800-205-6245, 800-205-6245. You can make a pledge on your plastic. You can order a copy of today's show, past shows we've done, other shows here on the network. That helps us out. You can pick up that envelope and address it to AFN, Box 1750, P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado. Federal Occupation Zone 80534. Your check, your money order, much appreciated. We'll even still take the fraudulent reserve notes. Don't know how much longer. Other currencies, sure, throw them in. They're all fraudulent anyway. You could throw in some just weights and measures. The Lord's money, at the very least. Tell your friends and family. Tune in 1360 AM on the internet at America News Net. AmericaNewsNet.com, and call the advertisers, folks. Let them know you're out there, you're listening. You appreciate their support. It only takes a second to jot their number down. Great Plains Solar, just had Pat on last hour. He's stepped forward. He'll keep this show on the air at 303-239-9963. You can give him a call, or you can call Doug Lambert at Square Root Construction. He's helping us out. SquareRootConstruction.com, 303-517-8742. 303-517-8742. My guest this hour, Sheriff Richard Mack, watchman on the wall out there, not afraid to take the beast on, and trying to awaken the sheriffs and peace officers out there that would stand up and protect the people. Sheriff Mack, welcome.
Well, thanks, Randy. It's good to be back with you.
It's good to have you back. The police state is, marching forward with, great speed now, isn't it?
Well, it is, and, they just can't get the police state where it belongs, like at the border.
Yes, we're being invaded. Yeah. We're under invasion, aren't we?
Now, how many times have you heard on the mainstream mockery known as the media, anything seriously about the ruthless human traffickers that are bringing those children to America?
Yes.
I mean, you hardly ever hear about it. These are the most ruthless, heinous, evil people, charging these people who no more make $3,000 to $5,000 in a year, charging them $3,000 to $5,000 to bring their children to the land of milk and honey and opportunity and freedom, with the promise that as soon as you get there, you get all these entitlements. This is literally some of the worst criminal activity going on anywhere in the world, and Barack Obama's out there playing politics with it. If the Republicans would just give me $3.7 billion, I'll solve this problem.
Yes.
Oh, my... Is there anything that this guy can't solve if he just threw some money at it?
Yes.
I mean, who couldn't be president? I mean, Mickey Mouse could be in the Oval Office and say, throw money at it, put some money on it, and then read from a teleprompter and go golfing and play pool. I mean, who couldn't do that? And so I admit,
and it's all these traffickers, these coyotes, and all of this. Mm-hmm. That's basically just a subsidiary company of the drug cartels.
They are, of course, yeah. And the drug cartels wouldn't give a wooden nickel for your life or mine or our children or anybody else. They do not care about America. They do not care about what they destroy anybody gets in their way, and they let you have it. And yet, we don't even secure our borders. And then we spend $95 billion a year in this country with our police state to go after the drug problem that we readily allow into our country at the borders.
Well, and let's go back into ancient history here. Ancient history that the mainstream prostitutes refuse to talk about, as Eric Holder and his minions at BATF allowing all of the arms in Fast and Furious to go across the border to arm the drug lords.
Well, they sure did, and those weapons were used in the commission of about 400 to 700 murders after they got a hold of those wonderful guns.
Yes.
And yet, who does anything about it? I mean, and even with the IRS scandal, we just have too many scandals. We don't have enough time, do we, Randy?
No, we don't.
To talk about all these scandals. But with the latest criminal behavior from our wonderful service organization, internally revenue, the Infernal Revenue Service, this is so innocuous compared to some of the other things they've done in the past. Well, we're only going to make it difficult for you to get 501c3 status. They have a history of going after people who don't agree with whoever the president is. FDR, LBJ, Nixon, Clinton. This isn't anything new. And yet, in 1997 and 98, Jennifer Long, with some others from the IRS, did some whistleblowing and testified before Congress that the IRS routinely fabricates evidence against citizens who they know cannot afford to defend themselves. And this type of criminal activity has been happening for decades, and now we have all these Republicans acting as if they're so astonished by it, and their little dog and pony show is getting a little bit tiresome.
Yes. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Question, comment for Sheriff Mack. Phone lines are open.
Walker's Quality Cajun Feed Supply won't sell you anything they don't feed their own pets. We sell quality feed for mice to horses, premium pet food, and wild bird seed, custom cages and supplies at the best prices in town with a 2% cash discount. Feed your animals quality food now or pay your vet later. Ask about our special of the month for KHNC listeners. That's Walker's Quality Cajun Feed Supply, located at 4298 Kipling Street in Wheat Ridge. That's 4298 Kipling Street in Wheat Ridge. 303-424-0305. 303-424-0305.
Did you see the size of that commission? That certainly was a large commission. Where's the gold? It's a very, very big commission. Where's the gold?
At your typical gold dealer, you get a lot less gold and they get a lot more commission. At Patriot, we provide you with more gold and silver with what we like to call the single-digit markup. At Patriot, you get more gold for less.
For all your gold and silver needs, call the Patriot Trading Group at 800-951-0592.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the Internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
And we're back. Sheriff Mack, my guest this second hour. You can go to his website, sheriffrichardmack.com. sheriffrichardmack.com.
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
It's sheriffmack.com.
Sheriff. Oh, no wonder.
But the one I'd rather they go to would be the cspoa.org, so that might be easier. 5 letters. cspoa.org. That's Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. cspoa.org.
cspoa.org. And we've got a caller online. Who we got?
Hey, Randy.
Kevin.
How you doing, buddy?
Down in Florida.
Actually, Valdosta, Georgia, FEMA Region 4. I think.
Okay, FEMA Region 4.
How you doing, Sheriff Mack?
Really well, Kevin. What's going on?
Well, I heard y'all talking about the border. I'm not going to call it a situation, call it a crisis. And I wanted to kind of chime in because I had some thoughts over the 4th of July, but I was just looking at the news today on InfoWars. Apparently there's a band of patriots in Moretta, California that had some success with stopping these buses that, not the Mexican human traffickers, but the federal government human traffickers are trying to bust in on our dime.
Well, it's hard to tell the difference between the crooks and the government, so it's probably kind of all one and the same. So,
we should kind of specify which cartel we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, and I remember, I think before I left Colorado, Sheriff, you were talking about your experience out there at Cliven's place, and you know, looking at the national news and everything that's going on right now. I had a reckoning on the 4th of July, and I said, looking at maybe where our founding fathers were back then 200 some odd years ago to where we are now, what's to stop us as patriots and as Americans to forming our own new, not U.S. Congress as under the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen type of garbage, but our own Continental Congress and a new Declaration of Independence and stopping what's happening? What do you think on that? You know, Randy and especially Sheriff Mack, where do you guys think we're at on all this?
I believe we can do that without having to push another organization in Washington to form another Congress in Washington or whatever. My whole thing is take America back county by county. Let's start making our counties free. Let's have a free county project. In fact, that is in the works, by the way. We are focusing on the county projects, and the sheriffs can already take America back. And I've just finished my sequel to the county sheriff book called Are You a David? And I actually have one of our best sheriffs in the country who happens to be a female sheriff, Sheriff Pamela Elliott from Edwards County, Texas. And she's on the front cover with Goliath standing behind her with the Philistine army. And the question is to every public official in Colorado, in Georgia, in Arizona, doesn't matter. Are you a David? In other words, are you humble enough and courageous enough to take on Goliath? Because if we have sheriffs and local officials, chiefs of police and county commissioners, mayors, city councils, that will only do one little thing that James Madison said we're supposed to do, and that is erect the barriers against the encroachments of the national authority. We can make the federal government and this treasonous administration irrelevant in our lives. And the only thing we have to do is exercise state sovereignty, exercise our authority, and keep our oath of office. It's a simple process. I understand that its implementation might take a little bit, but the only thing it lacks now is courage. And so this new book will be out, and it's all about this. Take America back, for God's sakes, in your hometown. You only have to work with 4 or 5 people to get it done. A sheriff, a couple of county commissioners, and maybe hopefully a county attorney, but he's not essential. and he's the last one that'll get on board. These attorneys have just been trained to go along with the federal government.
Yeah.
But the sheriffs are now starting to get some of this, and if they hear from the voters, if they hear from we the people and see that they're going to get support from we the people, and that if they don't do this, we're not going to support them, I believe it is a huge step to taking America back.
Well, you know, Sheriff, I tried to bring this bill about a year ago locally. We were passing a local ordinance down there in Greeley, and that's kind of along the lines of what I was saying. Now, does your organization, CSPOA, does it have some type of material it can send out to sheriffs from your organization to your local sheriff?
Oh yeah,
to educate them, because I mean, we got to admit the first step in this battle is de-propagandizing the public and the government itself into a different line of thinking.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And my books are the best tool for that. And I'm serious. I'm not trying to sell books. If you don't want to buy my book, I tell people that all the time. But if you want a tool for freedom, and if you want a blueprint for freedom and how to take America back, then you've got to see these books. They're short, they're small, they're easy to understand, they're easy to get a hold of, they're not expensive, and I have dedicated my life, my wife and I dedicate our lives to this. We spend 12 to 15 hours every day on this issue of saving our country and taking back our Constitution, and we have the blueprint for it. And you could order the books real easy. Just go to cspoa.org. You can get them off of there. And my new book will be listed probably within a day or two.
Well, thanks for the info, Sheriff, and we're definitely going to have to look into that because we got a lot of work ahead of us if that's the case. And
there's a lot of work, but we need to focus in our own hometown and county.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the work you put thus far, Sheriff. And Randy, great show. I'm going to hang up and just let the master do his talking.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening.
Well, Randy, before the break, I wanted to add one thing. We went to break. I wanted to add one thing. We see all these dog and pony shows being really hyped up by all these staunch, strong, courageous Republicans going after all these horrible Democrats in Washington. And then Greta Van Susteren asked one of these Republicans who she just showed a clip and showed him really assailing the IRS and the current director and assailing Lois Lerner and all this horrible stuff. And then she says, "You sound real good, and that was really great stuff. What are you going to do about it?" And he couldn't answer. That's exactly what is that, because they don't have anything. They're not going to do anything. The Congress could defund Obamacare. The Congress could defund all of this, but they keep the same old tax, borrow, and spend. Tax, borrow, and spend. And that's all of them doing it together. And the Republicans are just as guilty as the Democrats, but they're so happy now playing this all-star wrestling match and all this choreography that, oh, you horrible Democrats have ruined our country. So all this does is get the pendulum swinging back the other way, and it never accomplishes anything. And that's why I'm telling every one of your listeners, you have got to get going in your hometown. We have a solution, but you've got to focus on your hometown. Forget Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is bought and paid for. Forget it. Make it irrelevant. And if you erect the barriers in your own hometown against the federal government, you can take America back.
Yes. Well, here we got, IRS, BATF, Justice Department, all this. Now we've
BLM, FDA, EPA.
Here's one. The Environmental Protection Agency has quietly claimed that it has the authority to unilaterally garnish the wages of individuals who have been accused of violating its rules.
You think that's something new? That ain't nothing new. The IRS does it all the time, and these people want to catch up. I mean, even in my current book, I have a question. Who does the EPA? Who in the hell does the EPA think they are? The dadgum IRS?
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah, they want to be just like the IRS. They want to catch up. They want to be big boys like the IRS. And they want to play the game like the IRS. But the EPA has already gone in and disallowed people building a home on their own property because last night's rain made a puddle.
Yes.
And they charge people $35,000 a day for every day they're in violation. What's the difference? Now they just say, we're going to bypass charging you a fine. We'll just take it. And so they make themselves judge, jury, and executioner, and that is nothing new. And yes, now they're just using the tactics that the IRS has been using for decades.
For decades.
What a country.
And the people just sit back and go, oh well, the ball game's on tonight. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
well, what are you gonna do, folks, when EPA shows up to your bank? They don't even let you know. They just go to the bank and say, he's in violation because we saw motor oil out there on his driveway, and so we're going to have to garnish his bank.
Yeah, and I'm sure if we took another 3 or 4 hours, we wouldn't even be able to scratch the surface. But I'm telling you, Randy, if we would just go down the list during the last 5 years that Obama's taken office, all the horrible scandals, all the horrible things they've done, we could absolutely see such a culture of corruption and a culture of criminality that would just astonish everyone. And the first group that would be astonished would be the U.S. media, because they ignore all this stuff, and people would go, how come I didn't see this on the Today Show?
Yeah.
I watch the Today Show every day. How come they didn't say this? They're part of the problem. And, that Barack Obama goes and has a beer with the governor of Colorado. Oh, man, don't you Coloradans feel so much better now? They played pool and had a beer, and I'll bet they solved the world's problems. And here it is, while he's doing that, Israel is in the middle of a war.
Yes.
A war is starting in Israel. And Israel is about the size of New Jersey. And all around Israel are countries 5 times as big, and they're all enemies of Israel. And Barack Obama says, oh, yeah, we stand with you. And the whole world is falling apart. America has a crisis at its borders, and he wants to throw $3.7 billion at it, and if the Republicans don't give him his money, then they don't know how to negotiate, they won't compromise, they won't do their jobs. And I'll tell you what, if they want to start doing their jobs, stop the entitlement society that lures these peoples to America in the first place.
Well, my question is, okay, have they gone down there, and have they told those people down there that, all right, you send your children up here, we're gonna put them up here and there and everywhere, all over the country, and then, well, you just wait a few months, and then come on up here because your children are already here. We're going to go ahead and let you in.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be what they're heading for. And no, it cannot be that we allow this to continue. And, oh, my goodness. We have created such a Frankenstein that's going to bite us on the backside that I don't believe we'll be able to recover from it if we don't hurry up and get something done.
Oh, absolutely.
But the first thing that, though, has to be addressed is the issue why these people come here in the first place. And every one of them know and have been told that they will get free education, free housing, free food, free dental, free medical, and it'll all be taken care of. And the taxpayers of America foot the bill.
We'll be right back. Question, comment, phone lines are open. Sheriff Richard Mack, Eric Frito. And we're back. My guest this second hour, Sheriff Richard Mack. You can go to the main website, cspoa.org. cspoa.org, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Sheriff Mack will be speaking here, I lost that, in Tucson, right? Coming up?
My next one is in Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, July 19th.
Well, speaking of Phoenix and Arizona, a federal judge just ruled that Arizona must start issuing driver's licenses to these young adults that are pouring across the border. We've got another caller online. Who we got?
This is Marla.
Hello, Marla.
I had it's MYRA, Myra. I just had some thoughts that I had wanted to run by the two of you. It seems that this administration is repeating many of the same, the same game plan as early Germany leading up to the war. And part of it is that now Homeland Security is the new Stasi. They're getting more and more aggressive and offensive and abusing people. And there was a story I heard from years ago after Cuba was taken over, and this Cuban was telling about how the residents of Cuba were asked to host some of the natives there in the area, in the wilds, in the jungles and so forth, because they were doing a kindness. The government was doing a kindness to civilize them. And on a foreordained command, they rose up and killed their host families who were taking care of them. And their payoff was they were promised to take those people's belongings, which they did. And he was telling about how cars were just left. People didn't know how to drive, didn't really. Anyway, a lot of chaos. But then moving on, the phenomenon of the child warriors in different nations, especially Muslim nations, for goodness sake, and then Pelosi's encouragement for everyone to take these children in, it just brings chills. I just want to get your feedback, and thank you very much for hearing me.
Thanks, Myra.
Bye.
Well, I didn't hear her very good, but I believe she was talking about some families who have been kind of
talking about Cuba, how Cuba had, brought in people and, got to house these poor people. And, but that's, what we are is we're under invasion. Sure.
The bottom line with that is, every one of them still have to be treated humanely. Yeah, there's no question about that. I don't want any of those people to starve, and certainly we can all thank Glenn Beck for sending them teddy bears and soccer balls. So, our hats off to Glenn Beck for that. But the reality is none of those people should be here.
No.
And the reality is that our inept federal government, Congress, Justice Department, Homeland Security, and the White House have all been complicit in making sure that this has happened. And I'll add two major parties, Democrats and Republicans, because those two have played a political footsie with this issue so that they can continue selfishly to garner Hispanic votes. And the Republicans have had no courage to take a strong stand because they wanted to keep the 7 or 8% of the Hispanic vote they were getting. And so this whole thing has been extremely selfish and intentional. And so now it's biting us on the backside, and everybody's wondering what we can do about it. And of course, Obama's solution is the same one with everything: throw more money at it. And if we don't get serious about this, this is not only going to just cost us more money, as it already is, but it's going to destroy America. And so there's no way that America can be a refugee camp for everyone in the world, especially in the Western Hemisphere, that wants to come here and be taken care of by the taxpayers of the United States. So there's just no way that can happen. We don't have enough money to do that. There might be enough room. There certainly is not enough jobs, but when they're told they can come here for free and live for free, they don't have to worry about jobs. And we don't have enough jobs for the people in America now. So how is it that we're going to take all these people in? We already have about 20 million illegal aliens, and now we take another 20 million. There's no way. The economy just simply cannot withstand all that pressure. It might be the one thing that kicks us into full-scale depression. It's going to be part of it. But the rest of the policies of this traitor that's in the White House now, this Marxist communist, as if we didn't know what he was from the get-go. But this economy is headed for collapse, and this definitely will be something that won't help save it.
No. But back to California, Marietta, California, and
oh yes,
you're talking about local control, taking back our counties, taking back our cities.
Well, it's going to take that kind of courage. I left a message with the mayor there, Mayor Long. Some other people there were hoping that he would contact me, and I would love to go over there and help negotiate some sort of solution and help them with some sort of solution. But it does look like what you're saying. The people have taken the bull by the horn, and wouldn't it be wonderful if the sheriff and chief of police and the mayor would get together with the people and say, "Hey, let's do this in a organized and peaceful manner, and we're with you. We don't want we don't want to make Marietta a refugee camp either." And so they've got to do something about it. And I would love to see these buses these people just put on a different bus and shipped right to Washington D.C. and drop them off at the White House.
There you go. They got lots of lawn space out there for tents.
Yep, and lots of security, and endless money, and they got a big, huge kitchen there too.
Yes, they do. I think that's a great idea.
Drop them off in D.C., man, and let Congress and the president worry about it.
Absolutely. We're on our next break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Eric, Freedom. And we're back. Sheriff Richard Mack, my guest this hour. You can go to CSPOA, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. All the sheriffs are up for election this year here in Colorado, so better be asking them the question, are you going to join this association and uphold your oath of office? We've got another caller online. Who we got?
Hey, this is Barry in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Barry, how are you?
Well, I'm doing good. First-time caller, been listening for a while. Sheriff Mack, you were just here on June 5th for Mike Tuttle for sheriff in Cheyenne. And I know that our current sheriff, Danny Glick, he will not stand for you. He will not agree with you. I've talked to him multiple times with this, and the thing is it's all about him. It's not about the people. And the thing is, we have a sheriff up here that will not stand for the people. What do we need to do to get Mike Tuttle in?
Well, I'm really worried about that because Glick will keep his base, and you have a three-way split unless that deputy withdrew. But I don't think he has he?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, it would really be great that if there was just one other candidate going against Glick, and you're right, Glick is only concerned about being in the National Sheriff's Association. He's due to be the president here real soon, and he spends as much time in Washington as he does in Cheyenne. Yep. And he really he really needs to be replaced. He does not care about the freedom issues that you would think would be innate in Wyoming. And there's been some wonderful sheriffs in Wyoming in the past, but I'm really disappointed in the sheriffs there, and especially Glick. He has some leadership potential, but he's wasted it all on the National Sheriff's Association. And instead of really leading the people of his county to freedom and liberty, he plays the money game with the federal government. He's more concerned about keeping federal grants than he is about upholding and defending his oath of office and the Constitution.
Well, Sheriff Mack, thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm going to definitely get this information out for the people here in Cheyenne.
All right. Keep working, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Barry, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening.
You're welcome.
Yes. He's more interested, it sounds like, to go to the Department of Defense and say, hey, what have you got that's free? I need a tank. I need A-10 Warthog. I need,
Well, it's really a sad situation, but there's about 75% of the sheriff's offices and police departments get some sort of federal funding, and it's just astonishing. And that's another topic of the book, that these leaders in law enforcement think that it's free money. They really think it's free money. And then if you say, well, you really think it's free money? Well, I mean, the money's there. We might as well get our fair share. That kind of thinking. And if anybody thinks that there's any such thing as a free lunch or free money from the federal government, you're crazy. I mean, that's absolutely absurd. Anybody giving you money wants something in return, period. I don't care if it's a mugger on the street or a kidnapper who's trying to lure a kid into his car. They all want something. Favors, friendship, support later on, whatever it is, they want something in return. And what we need to do is keep our sheriff's offices and police departments independent and autonomous and answerable to the local citizens and people. And if we don't, we lose again. And we've been losing way too much. And the police state is taking over, and we've got to stop it.
Absolutely. And that free money is what they're basically doing, is they're saying that, well, it's free money. We want our children and grandchildren to pay it back.
Yeah. And they'll have to. And all of that's just, again, driving our country to bankruptcy. There's no way that we can sustain the debt that we have in this country and continuously paying billions of dollars in interest on our national debt. Sooner or later, that balloon will pop, and when it does, the economy and America will pretty much die at the same time.
Absolutely.
Now, there is one thing I wanted to bring up. We've got a good sheriff, and we need to help him. We've got a guy, Mike Tuttle is one running to stand for freedom in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I believe that's Laramie County, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
And he's really doing a great job of having courage, answering the call. He's answering, "Are you a David?" He is saying yes. We have another one, Sheriff Jeff Christopher in Sussex County, Delaware. And he has been fighting the battle there, battling the county commissioners in his county, battling the state legislature, battling the courts, and battling the Attorney General for the state, who is Beau Biden. And, of course, his father is Joe Biden.
Yes.
And he has lost at every turn. And now he's up for re-election. And he was one of our CSPOA Constitutional Sheriffs of the Year. And he is barely hanging on by the skin of his teeth. He's raising money for his campaign. And if anyone would like to donate to his campaign, just do so at cspoa.org and just mark it for Sheriff Jeff Christopher. Just remember, Sheriff Christopher. And anyone that would like to help this man get back into office, he is in dire need of financial support. And so, again, just make a donation. If you want to look him up on the web and go to his website, that's great. Just do it. I'm not sure what that is. We've taken donations for him before, and other sheriffs like Sheriff Finch, who stood for freedom in Liberty County, Florida. We took donations for him at our website. Both of these guys are members of the CSPOA. Every citizen listening to this program, every person listening to this program can become a member of the CSPOA. We need your backing. We need your help. But right now, Sheriff Christopher needs your help. And if he loses this, we're going to lose a huge constitutional sheriff. We need you to go to cspoa.org, make a donation for Sheriff Christopher.
We'll be right back. South Today's show here on the American Freedom Network. And we're back. Closing minutes of today's show. My guest, Sheriff Richard Mack. You can go to cspoa.org. cspoa.org. You can join up as a member. You can help them out, donate. You can also support Jeff Christopher's re-election campaign right down there on the home page. Go to the bottom. And I think we've got a caller online. Who we got?
Hi, Randy. Northern Colorado. Prefer to remain anonymous, but I was just curious if your sheriff knew anything. I wish I would have got you guys earlier. I know it's the end of the show, but if you knew anything about Larimer County down in Colorado, Northern Colorado, Justin Smith's sheriff, and I'll take my answer off the air. Thanks.
Thanks for calling.
Larimer County used to be Sheriff Smith, wasn't it not?
I think so, yes.
Actually, Sheriff Smith did some neat things. I'm not really too familiar with the guy who took his place. But Sheriff Smith, before he left, actually stood for the Second Amendment and against the Colorado State University Board of Regents, who tried to make it illegal to carry a gun with a concealed carry permit on campus. And they said that we will arrest you if you do. And Sheriff Smith said, I will testify for every one of them if you arrest them, and I won't allow any of them in my jail. And so he stood against the state, and he won, and did a terrific job. And the Board of Regents cannot make illegal that something that the state of Colorado already legalized.
Yes.
And so Sheriff Smith did a great job there. You do have some good sheriffs in Colorado. They need to do more. I need to do more. You need to do more. We all need to do more. All of you need to contact your sheriffs and ask them point blank. Ask every candidate running for sheriff right now in Colorado. Ask them, which one of you is a constitutional sheriff? I will only support I'll only support a candidate who will uphold and defend the Constitution just as your oath of office says. If you're not going to keep your oath, why should I vote for you? You need to ask every one of them that. Are you a constitutional sheriff, and why should I vote for you if you're not going to keep your oath of office?
Okay, there's the questions, folks.
Do it.
And get up off the couch and go to these meet the candidate things.
Yes. Go to every one of them.
Go to every one of them. Ask the questions. Hold their feet to the fire. And if nothing, what you're doing when you're doing that is you're educating all the other people in the room is what you're doing.
Probably afternoon.
And so, I mean, this police state, with the technology they have now, Hitler and the East German Stasi would have been so envious of the technology they can use against us now.
Yeah.
And they're doing it, aren't they?
Well, they are, and it's the responsibility of each one of us to take it back and to stop it. And the best way to do it is with a constitutional sheriff who's standing with you in defiance of tyranny.
Now, before we run out of time, all of these police departments, from the local burg, here we got a town of 600 people, and the police gets this AMRAC from Department of Defense, and well, what do you need that for? Well, it was given to us, and we ran out of time. Sheriff Mack, thanks for being with me this hour. We'll do it
All
again
right,
soon.
Randy. Thanks a lot. We'll be back.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and remember, the question is not, do you know the Lord Jesus Christ? The question is, does He know you?